Thanks, Deputy, for joining us today. So, can you provide us with the details about Project Vector? How many vehicles were recovered and how many are from Ontario?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Project Vector was a project that was basically it was built out of the idea that police services across the GTA, along with the OPP, could support interdiction efforts at the Port of Montreal. We've often said that one of the biggest issues we face is that cars too easily leave our country from the Port of Montreal. So it was an opportunity for us to demonstrate that, and we did. Collectively, or during that relatively short period of time, we were able to recover just under 600 stolen vehicles. Mm-hmm. Of those cars, 483 were from Ontario. And of the 483 from Ontario, the majority originated or were stolen from either Peel or Toronto. So to us, it's a very real and unequivocal demonstration of where our stolen cars are going and the opportunity that enhanced interdiction at the ports presents.
As you also mentioned, we are talking about the Port of Montreal for last many months. And with the success of this operation, can you say that the investigating agency's focus is now on the Port of Montreal?
Yeah, so we've always been advocating for, and in a number of different forums, we've advocated for formal change to, mandate letters and those types of things to enhance inspections of exports. It was something that came out of our first Auto Theft Summit. We've just had our second. There was more discussion around that. In fact, months ago, when I first came here and toured the port in Montreal, it was very obvious with a relatively small amount of resourcing and time, we could interdict and recover, large numbers of stolen cars. So it is going to continue to be a focus for us. This is an obvious gap and an obvious opportunity, and I believe this project demonstrates that. I was going to say, having said that, it is not the silver bullet and not the panacea to addressing auto theft alone. Enhanced inspections at ports of export is one piece of it. We need to continue to work with our industry partners, and by that I mean auto manufacturers, begin to encourage and continue encouraging them to pursue enhanced safety and security features in their vehicles. Prevention is a really important piece of the tool as well. So, education and awareness and having conversations like the one I'm having with you right now are also going to be really important. And then from an enforcement perspective, it is important that we not only hold the people accountable who are stealing the cars, but also pursue the organized crime who is providing the incentive for the people stealing the cars from our community. Mm-hmm. We need to hold organized crime responsible for that as well.
So after the National Summit on Auto Theft, can you say that additional resources were directed towards the inspection of this port on federal level?
Yeah. Well, we saw after the National Auto Summit, there were a number of announcements made around funding, and there's a strategy that is being developed, at a national level, and I believe due to be delivered in the winter. The momentum and the attention is there. But the opportunity to do more quicker is there as well. So, I definitely would like to see more at a national level oriented towards export at our ports. And I would include the intermodal in Brampton as well as the intermodals in York in that conversation.
Can you also provide us an estimate of the time between when these stolen vehicles were reported missing and when they were successfully located from these containers in Montreal?
Yeah, it would vary because there's so many different, 600 vehicles, right? So our recovery of them versus when they were stolen, it would really vary and be fairly diverse where that's concerned. But I can tell you generally speaking, a car, very short period of time from the point that it's stolen and being exported or arrives out of port for export. We're talking a matter of hours.
And this is my last question. We see a kind of cynicism among the Canadians these days. People say our country cannot stop even car theft, how would we do dealing with the major future security threat? Would you like to say something to the residents? Any message, any assurance?
Yeah, I would probably use our own story as reassurance. So, Peel Regional Police, we held the first Auto Summit where we pulled together all of our policing partners and stakeholders. Of course, we attended the National Summit. We held another summit, and from it came recommendations, which, we had leaders from industry, from policing, from justice, from, community leadership, all stand up and say that they're willing to do what was necessary in order to address the issue of auto theft. Our service is committed to having this conversation locally in Peel, at the provincial level, at the federal level, even potentially, internationally. We are optimistic that if the right people get involved and take the appropriate action, we will begin to address the issue of auto theft. And, I would combine that optimism with persistence. As long as this is affecting our community, we will continue to fight auto theft. It's not acceptable. We will not sit on our hands and just accept it. And we'll continue that fight with persistence until it's no longer affecting the safety and security of our residents.
Thank you, Deputy, for speaking with us today. Thank you for your time.
Really appreciate you providing me the opportunity.